Daf Yud Bet, I highlighted in yellow where we are. Daf Yud Bet Amud Aleph. Today, B'ezrat Hashem will be the final Purim Shiur. This is it for Purim. And so therefore, in the spirit of the holiday, to get in the mood of the holiday, we're not going to do halakha today. It's going to be all the story of Purim. Let's see what the Gemara says about the story.
What was the first lesson of Purim?
The first class? We've been doing this since Hanukkah. Today's shiur is sponsored, and the dinner is sponsored by Avi Elkis and family. Hashem should bless them with a lot of haslacha and biriut and panasa and shalom. And hey, there he is. You want something special, Avi? What do you want? A special blessing or what?
Everyone a good blessing. He was waiting downstairs to see if he gets recognition. The minute he heard it, he's like, okay.
But let's throw in no scam. Let's throw in the flash lama. Don't in the flash lama. Rachel Bat Lisa. The flash lama. Yud Bet Amud Aleph. We are by the highlighted place, which is Bahasad Ginat Bitana Melech. So what are we doing here? We're going to explain some of the mysteries of Megillat Esther. And so how does it start? It wasn't Hashperosh. He made a party. Ahashverosh made a big party. 180 days. And what does it say? It says, remember this? It's describing the luxuries of the party. And so we want to know what these words mean. All types of fine, expensive linens. Pillars, marble, beds to recline on, made of silver and gold. This is all explaining the first chapter, explaining all the luxuries of the party. Let's see what the Gemara says.
Someone told me last week this is an indication of the fact that he had the kelim.
Yeah, so we're not going to do that Gemara today, but I'll speak it. So the Gemara, my father-in-law asked me this today. Yeah, Dad, you here?
What?
You asked me, what is the reason that Hashverosh made the party? Yeah. And so the basic reason, like I told you, the basic reason is we're not going to do this Gemara. That's it, we're out of time. But the Gemara says the main reason when he did the party is because there was Galut of Babel. Nebuchadnezzar destroyed the Beit HaMikdash, and Yirmiyahu, the prophet Jeremiah, said, in 70 years, we're going to have a Geulah. 70 years. And so everyone is trying to calculate 70 years from what? And so Belshazzar tried counting, and he miscalculated. Ahashverosh also said, I counted 70 years, nothing happened. There's no Beit HaMikdash, and so it must be the Jews are never getting redeemed. The Beit HaMikdash is never coming back. Let's make a party. And so he took the kelim of the Beit HaMikdash, the vessels of the Beit HaMikdash, and he used them. That's free, hefked, it's over. The Jews had their run. Their God has forsaken them. This is the main reason why the Gemara says he made the party. And obviously you have the reason that Haman wanted us to make a sin. Fine, but the basic shot is he was celebrating. What was he celebrating? Yirmiyahu Hanavi's prophecy not coming true. La'alim. He just miscalculated the timing. It did come true. A couple of years later, we did get the Beit HaMikdash. Okay. Ba'hasad Ginat Bitana Melech. Where did he make this party? Ba'hasad Ginat Bitana Melech. In the garden, in the courtyard of the garden of the palace of the king. Ba'hasad, the courtyard, Ginat, the garden, Bitan, the palace of the king. So where was it? In the courtyard, the palace, the garden? Where? So Rab Ushmuel. Hadamad Haroi Lehatzer Lehatzer. Haroi Legina Legina. One says, it depends how hashuv you are. If you're very hashuv, you go inside the palace. And that's where hashuv, you get to sit in the garden. Haroi Lebitan Lebitan. The Hadamad, no. The other one says, no, it doesn't matter how hashuv you are. Hoshivan Behatzad. First, he put them in the courtyard. Velo Herzigitan. And they did not have enough room. The people packed the courtyard and they had to open up new room. So, Begina, he opened the garden. Velo Herzigitan, no room. Ashech Nisan, the Beitan, he said, finally, I got to let the people in the house. There's no room for all my guests. And the house, the palace, was enough room to hold everyone. So the people packed the party. In the Mishnah, we learned Hoshivan behatzer. First, he put them in the courtyard. Upatach lahem shnei petachim, and he gave them the option: choose door number A or door number B. Where would you like to go? Echad legina ve'echad lebitan. Everyone had a choice. You want to go to the garden, you go sit in the garden. You want to go in the palace, you go sit in the palace. So why does it say all these places? Because it's a mahloket where exactly the people sat. The next thing, it describes all the luxuries. Hur, karpasut, chelet. What are these things? My hur. What is hur? Rav Amar hare hare. Rav says it's a lot of holes, which is stitching, fine stitching. Ushmuel Amar milat levana hitzia lahem. And Shmuel holds he put white wool over them. And hud havid is white in Aramaic and Aramaic. Hud havid. So it doesn't mean hud means white, basically. White wool spread out for them to relax. Karpas, what is karpas? I don't know, karpas from the Seder night is the celery, but there must be something different over here. Amar Rabbi Yosef bar Hanina, karim shel pasim. What does karpas mean? Karpas, a cushion of pas. It's a cushion. Okay. Al gilile chesed. On silver, be'amud shesh, and on pillars of marble. Mitot zahava chesef, beds made of silver and gold. So was the beds made out of silver or gold? Couches, let's call them couches. Tanya, Rabbi Yehuda omer harawi la kesef la kesef. It depends how hashub you are. Again, if you're a hashub guy, you get a gold couch. If you're not, you get silver. So he holds harawi la kesef kesef. The person who deserves kesef gets kesef. And harawi la zahav la zahav. And if you're hashub, you get zahav. Amalo Rabbi Hamya says, no way. Why would you want to make people have jealousy and be envious of each other in the seudah? Ela hem shel kesef v'raglehen shel zahav. Must be the couches were made out of silver, but the legs were made out of gold. So when it says mitot zahava kesef, it means the zahav was the legs. Yud bet hamunah. Zahav was the legs. Finish. No, they were separate. Ken. That's good. Ken, yes. We're gonna do we're gonna do Vashti, and the bottom line is Vashti. We're almost there. But they were separate. It was separate seating. Yeah. So yeah, but it says in the Megillah Tifteh that he invited everyone. It says Hashverosh. It says Bishnat Shalosh Mecho Asa Mishteh Lechol Sarav Abadav. He made it for everyone. The Abadav, Chayil Paras Lechelet, everyone. Shemunim Ad Yom, huge. And then he says Ubivlot Hayamim Ela Asa Melech Lechol Ha'am Hanim Sim Shushan Lechol Ha'am. Everyone in Shushan. So Lim Megadol Ve'Ad Katan. Everyone was invited. Doesn't say the reason. No. Again, so I said, he said in Megillah. So what I said, so the most important thing is what I told the ladies on Sunday, Megillat Esther wrote this Megillah under Ahashverosh's eyes. And he was going to read every word of it. So she couldn't say certain things. So she had to hide secrets inside of it. This document had to be kosher for anyone to read, even Ahashverosh himself. That's why he doesn't look like such a bad guy. Right. It's only Haman. Is the truth is he was just as bad as Haman. Oh, yeah. Right? Okay. Ben Ish Chai says, just in a matter of physics, I guess you could call it, the gold is heavier than silver. So the Ben Ish Chai says, if you had a gold cushion and the silver legs, it would squish. Yeah, it would. I don't know the word for it. It will squish down the silver. The gold is much more strong, so that's why the gold was the legs. What's the word? Compress it. Yeah. Squish is so much of a better word. Okay. Next pasuk in the That's what he says. Is it verifying? Let's read. Mitot zahava chesef, beds of gold and silver. Al ritzefat bahat vashesh bedan v'soharet. What are these things? Bahat vashesh. Bahat vashesh. Amar Biasi. Abanim. These are stones, jewels. Shemithotetot aba'lehen, which their owners are. They work really hard to find these stones. Very precious stones. So they're very precious stones. That is what it means. Bahat Vashesh. Vedad Vesoharet. What is this? Rab Amad Dare Dare. Rab holds the rows. Dare Dare are rows. He lined up rows of chairs, of couches. Ushmuel Amad, no. Even Tova Yesh B'Kalkei there's a very precious jewel hidden deep in the ocean. Vedara Shema. The name of the stone is the Dara. So that's what Vedar is, this very unique stone. He brought this special stone out, show and tell, in the middle of the Seudah, and it lit up the whole room like the afternoon. Binish High on this says it was like a crystal, almost like a prism. If you put light into it, it shines like that. And so that's why it lit up the whole room. Another opinion, Vedad Vesoharet is not a stone. It's tax relief. Vedad Deror. Shekarat Deror, which means no tax. During the party, no tax. He's giving a gift to his citizens. Okay. Ve'ashkot bichle zahav. That's the next pasuk, right? Ve'ashkot bichle zahav. Ve'chelim mikelim shonim. And drinks in golden goblets. Ve'chelim mikelim shonim. And vessels, different types of vessels. This was, the Gemara says, the Bet HaMikdash's vessels. Ve'yen malchut. And the king's wine, Rav Kiyad Hamelch, a lot of wine, like the king's hand. Ve'ashetiyachadat enones. The drinking was like the rules, like the law, no forcing. Enones, you can't force anyone to drink. Hichen Isada Melech. This is what the Melech decided. Al kol beto, on everyone in charge. La'asok kison ish ba'ish, to do with the will of every man. Let's see what this says. Ve'ashkot bichle zahav. Drinking in golden goblets, and different types of dishes. It should really say v'kelim mishunim, different. Why does it say v'kelim shonim? The Gemara says, Amar Rabba yatzeta bat kol ve'amra lahem rishonim kalu mipnei kelim ve'atem shonim bahem. Belshazzar, he did the same thing. He took out the kelim of the Bet HaMikdash, the vessels of the Kohen Gadol, and he wore them, and he used the vessels of the Bet HaMikdash because he thought the 70 years prophecy was up, and he got killed for it. Belshazzar got killed for it, Vashti's father.
I thought Mordechai wore the 5 garments of the Kohen Gadol.
After, we're talking now the garments of the Kohen Gadol, to question, doesn't say straight out. Right now, we're talking about the actual stuff of the Bet HaMikdash. And so the Bat Kol comes and says, you idiot. Your father-in-law just did this and died for doing this. You're going to do the same thing? You're so sure? The 70-year calculation? Gemara, we're not doing it. There's a whole page of the calculation of 70. What Ahashverosh thought. And he made a mistake. V'yen malchut, and the king's wine. Rav, a lot. What does this mean? Amarav melamed shekol echad ve'achad hishkeu yayin shegadol hemenu b'shanim. Everyone got wine older than your age. The drinking was according to the law, no forcing. What does this mean according to the law? Just like the law of the Torah, he made a Jewish law. Just like we eat more than we drink, and in the korbanot also, we put much more food ingredients than the wine or the oil or the water in the korbanot. He was copying the Bet HaMikdash. This is what he was doing. He was making fun of the Bet HaMikdash. And honest, no forcing. It shows you that they got a drink from his country. You don't have to force you to drink the Syrian wine if you're Persian. Everyone comfortable with the wine of your country. To do the will of each man, of 2 men, ish va'ish, who are the 2 men? They made sure the rules of the feast were approved by both Mordechai and Haman. They were the 2 stewards over the meal. Everything had to be approved by both of these guys. Why is Mordechai called Ish? Ish Yehudi. And where is Haman called Ish? Ish Sar ve'oyev. So they're both called Ish. So what is Esther Malkat telling us? Both Mordechai and Haman were allowed to say, this meal is approved, this drink is not approved. And so Ahashverosh, it seems, made a kosher feast. He was trying to lure us in. They say, it's not so bad. It's not kosher. Mordechai, the rabbis, we have hashgacha. It's kosher. Gam Vashti Hamalka. This is chapter 2 of Megillat Esther. So Gam Vashti Hamalka Asita Mishte Nashim. Also Vashti, she made a party. Asita Mishte Nashim, a party for the women. Be'et HaMalchut, in the castle. Asher HaMelech Ahashverosh. So Vashti made her own party. Haman was there. Haman. Okay, so we're going to see. So Haman was already an officer. We're going to see on the next page, Haman was Memuchan. And so Memuchan was already there. Memuchan is another name for Haman. We'll do it on the next page. So Haman is already an officer. Okay, hold on. Gam Vashti Hamalka Aseta Mishte Nashim. Also Vashti made a party for the women. Bet HaMalchut, in the king's house. Bet HaNashim Mibaya there. Why does it say Bet HaMalchut? It should say in the Bet HaNashim, in the women's quarters. Why is she doing it in the castle? Amar Rabba, so she did it where the men come. Amar Rabba says, they both wanted pretty suit. Both Ahashverosh and Vashti, they made separate seating. They both said by the end of this party, it's going to be a big balagan. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on. The men and the women are going to mix eventually. This was the plan all along, both of them. This is like the people say, Ihu bekari v'itete bebotzini. Him with his pumpkin and her with her little squash. They're both the same thing. The man and the husband, they both want the same thing. So we see Ahashverosh later, he says, bring the women. I want to see Vashti naked. And so he had ta'ava, he wanted to make it a whole immoral scene. She also wanted the same thing as he did. Vayom HaShevi'i, this is the next pasuk. Vayom HaShevi'i, on the seventh day, when the Melech, Ahashverosh, had a lot of drink in him, Amar Limhuman, he told Mehuman, Zeta Harbona, Beta Vabelta, Zeta Bechalkas. He told these 7 guys, Shiv'ata Salisim, the 7 officers, Hamshalatim and Penei HaMelech Ahashverosh, that serve Ahashverosh, Le'avit, Vashti HaMalka, Le'fnei HaMelech B'chet HaMalchut, to bring Vashti wearing the crown, Le'arot Ha'amim Ve'asirim Et Yofyah, so everyone can see how gorgeous she was. And Vashti was one of the most gorgeous people that ever lived. She's on the list. She was beautiful. But she refused to she refused to come. That the officers told her, you got to come. She said, no, I'm not going. He got very mad and he's boiling with anger, literally. So let's see what happens.
He sent her a letter.
Let's see. On the 7th day, when he had a lot of wine. We're on Yud Bet Amud Bet. What? It took him 7 days to get drunk? For 6 days he couldn't get drunk? Amaraba, no. Yom HaShebi'i Shabbataya. It was Saturday. That the Jewish people are home, not in the party, eating and drinking. So when this whole Vashti thing happened, we were home for Shabbat. We were singing Pizmonim, we were saying Torah Ta'Hashem. We're home on our Shabbat tables. But these guys, all they do is eat and drink. You have a Jewish table, from Jewish Orthodox table, we drink. We drink scotch, arak, we drink vodka. What happens when we drink? We sing. Like drunken sailors maybe, but we sing to Hashem. We don't ask for to bring the women naked when we get drunk in a kiddush. That's the difference. Esther Malka is trying to hint us, by Yom HaShevi'i on Shabbat, she's saying to us, look at the difference between our 7th day and their 7th day. In that Adrasha's meal, Halalu Omrim, they had an argument amongst the men. These guys said, Madayot Na'ot, the Madai women are the most beautiful women. They said, no, the Persian women are the most beautiful women. Ahashverosh says to them, no Syrian women here, sorry. Ahashverosh says to him, the vessel that I use, my wife, she's not either of those things. She's a kasti. This one, you want to see her? I'll prove it to you. Amru lo, sure. but only if she's naked. We don't want to see her. We want to see her the same way you see her. Otherwise, we don't want to see her.
I'm saying this.
These are the people sitting at the table. All these guys are drunk men sitting at the table arguing about who's more beautiful. Why did this decree come down that Vashti would have to be summoned naked? Because midah keneged midah. She did it to other people, and now she got it to herself. Melamed, we learn shayeta Vashti harsha'a mevi'a benot Yisrael umafshitan anumot ve'osa bahen melacha b'Shabbat. She used to take the Jewish women, strip them down, and said, "Serve me naked." This is what she did. And so since that's what she did to them, eventually it happened to her. Midah keneged midah. I know that's why it says, Ahad hadevrim ha'ele, after these things. After what things? After she did what she did, now she gets on her head. When his temper went down, he remembered Vashti and what she did. It doesn't say he remembered what he did, what asa, what she did.
She didn't come.
Yeah, but what did she do before that? The girls, the Jewish girls. That's what's the Hiddush.
But why you don't care about it?
Who? Hashverosh? He loved her. He loved her.
Yeah, but why would he care?
You remember
that about the Jewish girl?
No. It's Hashem is putting it in his head to do all this nonsense because of what she did. It's all hints. What happens next? Vashti refuses. And he gets mad. Let's see for a second. She was immoral. Vashti was not a moral person. Because we just said they both wanted to do this. She was dying to come naked to these guys. So why didn't she come? Why didn't she come? Amar Rabbi Yosef, we all know this. Amar Rabbi Yosef, Bar Hanina, Melamed, Sheparha ba Sara'at. She became Sara'at on the spot, covered in leprosy. She was embarrassed. Or Ba Gabriel ve'asa la zinav.
Oh, that's what it comes from.
Gabriel came and made for her a tail. And so she grew a tail like an animal. How's she going to go there? Everyone's going to make fun of her.
Evolution.
Yeah, devolution. Devolution. The Mahashah says, by the way, the Mahashah says, don't laugh if you think, how could it be she had a tail? There's a gemara in Erechin that says, Adam Harishon, Hashem created Hava from Adam, right? Vayibin etasela. He took the rib. The Gemara says, what is a selah? The Gemara says, mahloket. Either it's a rib or it's a zinav. It's a tail. There is an opinion in Gemara that Adam Harishon was born with a tail. And he took the tail away and made Hava from it, and he lost the tail. So we used to have tails, so they're right. Whoever they were, the Goyim are right. We used to have tails. However, the Hatam Sofer, horns, yeah. Only the Jews have horns. The Hatam Sofer says, even according to this Gemara, it doesn't mean a tail, mamash. The word zinav means anything behind you. And so he says, Hatam Sofer says, we had ribs, we had a spine with bones, we had an extra bone, maybe like the dinosaurs. It was a bone sticking out on the back, not mamash a tail that wags like an animal. And so it's a mahloket if this is literal or not. Why Gabriel? What's this? Ba Gabriel ve'asal is now. Gabriel made her the tail. And so the Ben Ish Chai says, well, the Gabriel is the malach of Ish. Right? Michael is water and Gabriel is fire. These are the two malachim. That's why we say kadosh, kadosh, kadosh. Right? Kadosh, kadosh, kadosh. That's why we say oseh shalom b'mamav. When we say oseh shalom b'mamav, we're talking about Gabriel, Michael. We have one malach of Ish. We have one malach of fire. And they both come together and they say kadosh, kadosh, kadosh. They both get on the same page, even though they're opposites. That's oseh shalom b'mromav. He makes peace in the heavens with the malachim who are opposites from each other. Yeah? And so Gabriel, the malach of fire. Fire is ta'ava. Ta'ava, desire is fire. And so the Gabriel says, Hashem sent Gabriel down to stir up Ahashverosh's ta'ava, get him in heat, get him hot. And then he sends him to Vashti to punish her with the tail.
Would this be considered a midrash?
This is, the word midrash is a very weird, a lot of midrashim are also gemara. And so you can call it a midrash. but it is Talmud. You can call it a midrash if you want to. It's not literally, this is not a midrash, but the rabbis in the midrash are the same rabbis as the Gemara a lot of times. It's the same names.
Well, where would you write midrash?
So the midrash a lot of times is stuff that's not in the Gemara, but it's the same rabbis. You'll see the same names in the midrash.
Because the whole tail thing is always being considered like a midrash.
Yeah, but it's a lot. It is the Gemara itself. So
there's
it
not
has a
midrash
little
in
bit.
the Gemara.
Yes, a lot of times what the midrash is also in the Talmud. In my opinion, if it's in Talmud, it's another notch level of authority than just the midrash. Immediate to the Gemara.
Right, but if it's a midrash, is there something to learn?
It could
from
not.
it?
Yeah, it could possibly not be literal.
Right.
It doesn't have to be literal. We don't know exactly what it was. Or it could be that it's just like the other rabbi. It was Sara'at. It wasn't a tail at all. Even if it was a tail, we don't know what this means. Benish Hai, because he has the whole thing, how a tail, you can never make a tail straight of an animal. He says, you can't make a dog's tail straight. It's always going to sag down.
Very weird if you suddenly do a tail.
Yeah. Listen, possible? We don't know. That's why we have mahloket. What happens next? The Melech gets very mad and he's boiling angry. Why did he get so mad at her for not coming? He asked her to do something that's a little ridiculous. Come appear in front of my guests naked. I mean, you get so mad at her. Amar Rabba says her response to him was chutzpah. That's why. Amar Rabba shalhale. What did she send back to him? She didn't just say no. She sent back no with a slap in the face. She said, Bad ahoryadeh de Abba. You are the son of the horse, the stable boy, the kid who watches the horse of my father. You're nothing compared to my father. Her father, Bashat Sad, you're my father's stable boy for the horses.
Royalty, really.
She was from the king. Yeah, she was a princess. Abba lekabel alfa hamra shati velo ravi. My father can drink 1,000 drinks and he would never get drunk to the level of you got drunk. Ve'ahu gabra, this guy, she didn't even say his name. Ve'ahu gabra, this guy, ishtati behamre miyad. He gets drunk like this in 1 second and wants to see me like this, calling me. Lost his mind in 6 days. His anger burned in him. That's why he got so angry, because she insulted him. Okay. What happens next? Now, she didn't listen to him. So we know what happens. No, so what happens before this? The king says, what am I going to do? To the wise people. The people who know the times. You ever wonder what this means? We hear this megillah every single year for your whole life. What does this mean? So he asked the wise people. Maybe. Because this is what they used to do. Zamani, yeah. So what does it mean? We hear this every year.
What is it? The 7 advisors, no?
Yeah, but what does this mean? Why is it called the Hakamim Yode'eh Ha'itim? The people who know the time. Vayomer HaMelech LaHakamim Yode'eh Ha'itim. The king tells the wise people who know the times. Because they used to consult. The king has to consult and get advice.
Is it possible that the Chachamim Yodei is the one that knew the calendar and everything?
Or knew the future.
Astronomy and...
Calendar, good. We're going to do one thing.
Calendar.
Who are the closest advisors, he asked? Kashena, Shetat, Admata, Tashish, Meres, Marsema, Memuchan. 7 advisors closest. What do I do with my wife? She didn't listen. Remember these names. Kashena, Shetat, Admata, Tashish, Meres, Marsena, Memuchan, Shivat. The 7 Sareh Parasamadai, the 7 officers. They got to see his face. They were close to him. They sat closest to him. What do I do with my wife? She didn't listen. Memuchan speaks up and tells her.
He was the lowest of all of them.
Yeah. Not only the king did she insult. She insulted everyone. Why? All the women are going to hear what happened. That they could all not listen to their husbands. So she's a disgrace to the whole world, Vashti, and not only to you. They're going to say, hey, you hear what happened? She didn't listen to the king. On this day, if it's good to the king, should kill her and make someone else. There's no joke. So Memuchan says it's not a joke. You think this is a party? No, it's not a joke. You have to kill her. All the women, write a law. This is the law of the land. All the women have to respect their husbands. Make sure no one repeats this. By law. You're laughing. There's mamash. Send a letter. Doesn't matter if your husband's a tiny nobody, you respect him. Oh, good advice. Very smart. What happens? They sent the books out. Every man is in charge of his house. Everyone talks the man's language. If you have an intermarriage, we go by the man's language in the house. This is the law they passed because of Vashti. Now let's see what this is all about. Okay. He tells the wise people, what do I do? Man hachamim. Who's hachamim? Rabbanan, the rabbis. He asked the rabbis, what should I do with Vashti? Now it's a very uncomfortable situation for the rabbis. What am I supposed to answer this guy? Yode'eh ha'itim, those who know the times. Shiod'in le'abir shanim, they know how to make the calendar and make leap years. It's a lot of mathematics. We have it for granted from Hillel Zaken. He made our calendar. Without Hillel, it's a lot of mathematics. Make the leap years.
Calendar at that time?
No.
What's it say?
They have to do it now. These guys are busy making leap years and calendars. That's why it's called Yode'eh Ha'itim. This all the rabbis we're talking about, like you said. And to make New Rosh Chodesh month, it's not easy. So Amar Lehu, he tells the rabbis, Dainuhu Ali, judge her for me. To the rabbis. Amru Hechina Avid, what are we supposed to do? Nema lekatla, if we tell the king, kill her. Your honor. How could you let her disgrace your honor? Kill her. Limahad pasik lehamre. Tomorrow he gets sober. Ubaila, and he's gonna want her. Minan from us. So we can't say kill her. Nema le shavka. If we say to the king, leave her alone, it's okay. He's gonna say, oh, you don't care about my kavod? So where's the catch-22? What are we supposed to tell this guy? We're setting us up for failure. So what they say? Amru lo. They told the Hashvirosh. As soon as the Bet HaMikdash was destroyed, and we lost our land, Israel, we don't have smart. We're not smart anymore. We don't know how to give advice. We lost it. We don't know how to do. We don't know how to do din nefashot, court cases. We're not qualified anymore. Go to the non-Jews. They're very smart. They're sitting very comfortably in their places. Like a good wine that's sitting on its sediment. They're good wine. We're damaged wine. Don't ask us. He went, no, first. Vayomer hachamim, look at the pasuk. Vayomer hamelech lahachamim yodei ha'itim. And then it says, so first he went to the rabbis. The rabbi said, no, don't go to us. We don't know how to do this. Go to the other one. Go to the other courts. And they give them pasuk to show that they're not qualified. Okay, fine. Now the officers, the 7 officers, the people who are close to him. These are the 7 guys. Amari bilevi, kol pasuk ze al shum korbanot ne'emad. Esther Hamalka is hinting to us. All 7 guys, whether it's their real names or their nicknames, is really a hint to our korbanot, to show how good we are. Hashem should not let us be destroyed because of the Seudah. So we're going to go one by one. Kashena, the first one. Kashena. Amru Malachei the angels told Hashem, Ribono shel olam, kilum hekrivu lefanecha karim bnei shana, kederech shekrivu Yisrael lefanecha. Kashena, look at the guy's name, Kashena, karim bnei shana, an animal. The Bnei Israel, bring you Karim Ben Shana 68 years ago when they had the Beit HaMikdash. They brought you Korbanot. You're going to destroy them from the Seudah? Next one. Shetar, Kashina Shetar. Kilum Hikrivu Lefnecha Shete Torin, Shetar, Shene Torin, Shete Torin, 2 birds. Hey, the Bnei Israel brought you 2 birds, Korbanot. Third one. Adnata. Kilum Banu Lefnecha Mizbeach Adama. Adama is dirt. Did these non-Jews, they bring you a Korban, Mizbeach Adama? No. Tashish. Kilum Shimshu Lefnecha Bebedek Kemona. Tashish is one of the garments, the stones in the garments. Meres. What does meres mean? It means to mix. These guys, they stir the blood of the korbanot for you? No, the Jews do. Marsena, the same word, meres again. Memuchan, the last one. Kilum hechinu shuhan lefanecha. Memuchan means muchan, prepared. Do these guys prepare shuhan for you with bread? No, but the Jews do. So therefore, these are 7 zichuyot that we should have rebach v'hasala, and we shouldn't be destroyed because of the seudah. Vayomer memuchan. Memuchan speaks up with his brilliant idea, like Ronan said, to have a law, the land, new law. Every wife has to respect the husband. Vayomer memuchan. Tana, Memuchan ze Haman. Memuchan is really Haman. That's his name. Haman is Memuchan. Why? He's prepared already from the beginning for problems. Memuchan means prepared. There is a disagreement in Tosafot. Read Tosafot. Tosafot says, Memuchan, yesh midrash. There is a midrash. Shayat Daniel. That Memuchan was not Haman, it was Daniel, it was a Sadiq. So why in the world would Daniel give such crazy advice to Ahasuerus that we have to make a new law, kill her, and make a law that everyone has to respect their husbands? So the Prophet says something crazy. Daniel, he married a very Hashuv woman who was more important than him, and in the house they spoke her language, and he didn't like it. This is what it says. And so Daniel hated this. And so finally, when he had a chance, he says, I got to stick up for male rights. And no one else is going to do this. Unbelievable. Peked de Rabbi Eliezer brings this also. Chapter 49, I looked it up. Peked de Rabbi Eliezer, chapter 49, says, Memuchan is Daniel, not Haman. Interesting. But the pshat is, it was Haman. Vayom Memuchan. Hanan Memuchan ze Haman. Amar of Kehana. We see from here, Mikan Sha'ahediot Kofes Berosh. We see a rule in life. The lowest quality person always speaks up first.
Oh, that's what we think. Hamor kofetz barosh.
Yeah, was it Hamor? Yeah. Memuchan was the lowest of the 7 guys. He was last in the list. He's the first guy to open his mouth. If you do conference calls and board meetings in work, pay attention to the guy that's talking the most in the meeting. Yeah, but the guy that's smart and hacham, he's quiet, right? Rabbi Victor Miller always writes in his books, and on his tapes, he used to say, "You open your mouth, everyone sees you're an idiot. If you keep your mouth closed, they think you're a hacham." That's what he used to say. He gave one guy advice. One guy, they used to ask questions to him after his shiurim. He said, "I'm getting married. Do you have advice for me?" He said, "Yes. In your father-in-law's house, be quiet. They'll think you're a hacham." That's what he said. Okay. Liot kol ish sorer bebeto. This is the law they passed. Every man is in charge of this house. Is this a ridiculous law? Ronan, is it ridiculous? You were left in the first time we said.
It was nice.
Amar Rabba says, if not for this law, no Jew would survive. Only because of this law, we're alive today. Why? Amri, all the people, the citizens, they said, what is this guy sending us a law? A very important law we have to announce. What's the law? Every man's in charge of the house. What are you sending me? We know this already. What? Even a regular weaver in his house, he's in charge. A man is in charge of his castle, yeah? What kind of idiotic laws this guy passes? He's wasting our time. What is Congress doing all day long? Passing crazy laws that every man is in charge of their house. Thank you very much. Next time you pass a law, I'll make sure I don't read it. So therefore, when the next law came out, all the Jews have to be killed on the 13th day. What are you saying? Look, take your laws and I'll read it later. This is what the Gemara says. Because of so why did Hashem make this happen? So that people thought the government was idiot, stupid. And nobody paid attention to the second law. What happens next? And so he says, you need to find a new wife, yeah? And so after this, he remembers, he makes a beauty pageant, a beauty contest. I need all the girls to come and see who my new wife is going to be. So what happens? I want all the bitulot, that's the virgins, unmarried, all the beautiful girls, to the castle, Ilyad Hega Siris Hamel Hege Siris Hamelech to the Shumei Nashim, that a special guy in charge of the woman. His name was Hege or Hegai. Okay, let's see. So they have the beauty contest. Ve'afked Hamelech Pekidim. Amar Rabbi says, "My dichtiv kol arum ya'aseh b'da'at uchsil yifrosh ivdelet." What does it mean when it says one guy does things smartly and one guy does things stupidly? When David HaMelech wanted to find a girl because he was cold, right? And nothing would keep him warm. So he said, David HaMelech needed a virgin also to keep him warm. Any guy who had a girl, a daughter, said, please, David HaMelech, take mine. Please, everyone volunteers, take my daughter. Uchsil, and the fool, Ze'ah Hashverosh. Dichtiv, when he made a contest and he put a law, I want all the girls, anyone who had a girl, hid him from Hashverosh. Hashverosh was a pig. We're not going to have time to do this gemara. There's another gemara that says, Bigtan Vateresh. Bigtan Vateresh tried to kill Hashverosh. Ever ask yourself why? Ever wonder why?
Bad romance.
The Gemara, you know why? Why do they want to kill Ahasuerus? Yossi, ever wonder why?
They had daughters too.
So the Gemara says, Ahasuerus, and my kids are here, so I use Hebrew. Ahasuerus was obsessed with tashmish, obsessed, as addict. And so it makes you very thirsty. And so the guy didn't stop. And these guys were in charge of water. Bigtan and Teresh are the water guys. And so he's asking them for water every 5 minutes. The Gemara says, yeah, Gemara says this. Yes, they said this guy doesn't stop. And so they're so haji already with this guy. We're gonna kill him. So they put poison in the water. The Gemara, they put a snake in the water with poison. They tried to kill him. This is how Bigtan Vateresh. That's why they wanted to kill him. Yeah, good Purim trivia for your family. Okay, let's go a little bit more because this is the last thing before Purim. This is it. Each Yehudi Ayah Beshushana Bira Shmo Mordechai. There was a Jew named Mordechai ben Yair, the son of Yair, ben Shimei, ben Kish, Ish Yemini. Okay, so we have Ish Yehudi, and his name is Mordechai. Yair, Shimei, Kish, Ish Yemini. Yemini is Binyamin, from the tribe of Binyamin. Let's see. This will be the last part we do today. Ish Yehudi Ayah B'Shushan B'Ira. Ish Yemini, he was a Yemini. He was a Benjamin guy. Maika Amar. Ili Husakati Liyahase V'Azir B'Yamin. Why are you telling me his grandfather, Yair, Shimei, Kish? I have to know his whole family tree. If you're gonna say Zihus, go all the way. Keep going. Go all the way to Binyamin. Why are you stopping over here by Kish? Ela, the Ben Ish Chai adds, if you look at the lineage, that's not even how it works. Ben Yair, Ben Shimei. Yair is not the son of Shimei. There's a lot of people in between. They skipped a lot of people. Shimei ben Kish. No, it's not true. Ben Ish Chai says Shimei is not the son of Kish. And so it's picking exactly 3 people from his whole family tree. Why? Ela Mai Shenahani. Why only these 3 names they tell us? Mordechai is the son of Yair, Shimei, and Kish. Tana, Kulan al Shemon Ekleu. When Esther wrote this, she's praising Mordechai and plucking 3 people from his family trees because their names are praises for Mordechai. Ben Ya'ir, he's the son of Ya'ir. Ben Shehe'ir Enehem Shel Yisrael B'Tfilato. He made our lights, our eyes full of light. Ya'ir with his tefillah. Ben Shimei, the son of Shimei. Ben Sheshama et Tfilato. Hashem listened to his tefillot. Ben Kish is Tanakh. Shekish Ash'ari Rahamim. He kept knocking. And they answered him. They opened the door for him. That's why he chooses these three guys. Last part. Karila Yehudi. We call him a Yehudi. That seems like from Shevet Yehuda. Almam Yehuda Kati. He must come from the tribe of Judah. Vikarila Yemini. But we also call him Benjamin, Yemini. So which one is he from? Yehuda or Binyamin? Amar Abrahman. Mordechai Mukhtar bin Musohaya. Mordechai was crowned with his names. He was both. We'll explain now. Amar Abba Bar Hana, Amar Yoshua ben Avi, Aviv mi Binyamin. His father is from Binyamin. That's why he's Ish Yemini. He's Yemini. V'imo mi Yehuda, and his mother is from Yehuda. So he's half-half. But Rabbanan Amri, and the rabbis say, Mishpachot mitkarot zu bezu. The families of Yehuda and Binyamin were fighting with each other over Mordechai. Mishpahat Yehuda omeret anna garim demitalid Mordechai. I'm the reason. Yehuda says it's because of me we have this guy Mordechai. Why? Because my grandfather David HaMelech Yehuda, he could have killed Shimei. When Shimei ben Gera cursed him, he let him off the hook. Shimei ben Gera was the great grandfather of Mordechai. Mishpahat. Back then, well, after the Pilegesh Begiv'ah, after Pilegesh Begiv'ah, no, but they lifted it on Tu B'Av. They released it. Yeah. No, much before this. But this is in the time of the Shoftim. This happened. Yeah, much before this. Because now already we're in the times of the Beit HaMikdash. After the first Beit HaMikdash. And so therefore, Shevet Yehuda is taking credit. Hey, we could have killed Shimei, but we didn't kill Shimei, and therefore he gave birth to Mordechai, so he's on our credit. But Shevet Binyamin Amra Minai Ka'ateh. What do you mean? He comes from me. He's a Binyamin guy. However, Rabbah with the Aleph says it's the opposite. Nobody wanted Mordechai. They were upset that he was even here. They hated him. And so Rabbah Amar Knesset Yisrael Amra Le'idach Kisa. They said it's the other way. Look at this Yehudi. What is he giving us problems? Just be good with the government. What are you fighting with Haman for? Just do what the government says. They hated him. And so therefore, look what this Yehudi did for me. I wish David HaMelech killed Shimei. If David killed Shimei, he would never give birth to Mordechai. This Mordechai gives us problems with the government. Because of him, Haman is jealous. Look at this Yemini. Why did Binyamin do what they did? I wish Shaul, who was from Binyamin, killed Agag. So therefore they're saying, look at these two guys, Mordechai and Haman, fighting like cats and dogs. Both of their grandfathers should have been dead. We shouldn't have either of them. Not Mordechai and not Haman. This is what the Jewish people were saying.
They blamed it all on Mordechai.
A lot of people hated Mordechai in the beginning, even at the end, right? Most of the people, a lot of people didn't like him. And it's not only the not religious that didn't like him. It could even be the religious. Imagine right now someone who gets involved in the Malchut. I can imagine a lot of very from Black Hats people would not like him also. Mordechai was not very popular in the beginning.
No, but they said that because he didn't bow, this whole episode happened.
They started the whole thing? Yeah. Okay, one more piece and then we'll finish. So therefore, the Amai Karele the Yehudi. So then why do we call him Yehudi then if he was really from Binyamin? Because he refused to bow to Avodah Zarah. Anyone who doesn't bow to Avodah Zarah gets the name Yehudi. Okay, I think we have to end here. Yalla. There's no more. That's it for Purim. This is only the first perek and a half. Imagine all the gems that are hidden for the rest. So pick up your megillah. This is Gemara Megillah, and we just read page 12A, 12B.
The whole megillah.
Not every word, but a lot of it. All the good stuff. If you're looking for all the good stuff, it goes until page 16, 17.
Is there any section? I remember during one time that the boss.
If you, by the way, any midrash you've heard, if you want to ask me right now, I'll tell you if it's in the megillah or not.
So they say that Achashverosh was kind of a rebellious king and killed the father of Vashti.
Yeah.
And this party was for him to, after he was victorious.
It's a
So
mahloket.
the previous king.
Yeah. So where you're looking for is over here in the Gemara. It's a mahloket how he got his power. Some people say in a good way, some people say in a bad way. And what you're looking for is page 11a on the bottom. You can check it out. It's a mahloket how he got his power.
And then recently they just discovered some notes from the father of Achashverosh, Darius, in Israel, that showed the connection of the Persian Empire to Israel at the time.
But Hashverosh's father wasn't from royalty or anything.
Well, that's if you look at the argument, very
Interesting. I don't know. Check out page 11a. 11a on the bottom. The Kaddish.
Amen.